Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my page 112 tag video for January 2022. The page 112 tag was started by Sean at Sean the Book Maniac. He based it off of a French literary prize, wherein they comprised the long list solely by reading page 112 of the books in contention. So you have no context for the rest of the story, and the only thing you can judge on is the quality of the writing on this page that's usually somewhere in the middle of a normal-sized book. So I have been utilizing this tag since the times of COVID to try and whittle down my unread physical shelves. I have this handy-dandy Books and Cats mug that's filled with all the titles of the books that are on my shelves. Now that it's the beginning of a new year, I've gone ahead and replenished the cup. I've added in all of the books I've acquired from 2021 and before. And I also went ahead and did something that I haven't yet done since starting this in early 2020. I went ahead and re-added in all of the books I drew out and didn't end up reading yet. So I might be getting a fair few repeats in here that'll get a second chance on the page 112 tag. So anyway, what I do is I draw out 3 books at random, I read page 112, then I discuss their merits and decide and discuss with you which book I will be adding to the month's TBR. And hopefully I will be playing by the rules of the game where I go by the quality of the writing on that page. Sometimes I let other things get in the way, like when I'm worried about having too much to read and I want a short book or something like that. And it's also been very fascinating how much I've been hopeful by some books and they haven't lived up. I feel like a lot of times I either really love the books I read for this or I'm kind of disappointed in them. So let's just hope for a positive ending here. And with that, I will go ahead and pick my first book. Okay. Oop, and it's just one, okay. Oh, Everything Belongs to Us by Eugen Grace Wertz. This is a fascinating one because it's not a new title, and it's also not one that I picked out of this mug before, so that means this title has been sitting in the mug for years. And I'm so excited now to have finally fished it out. From my understanding, this is a book that I think I won through LitHub or something like that. I won myself a free copy, and it's been sitting on the shelves, and so that makes me extra excited to test it out. Alright, well for book number 2 I'd like something a little different, as in one of my 2021 books or one of the books I can do a second chance with, but it's likely it'll be one of those because there aren't very many that have been in the cup this whole time. But anyway, stop rambling and here we go. Ah, The Slaughterman's Daughter by Jana Itzkovitz. This is a 2021 acquisition that came out last year, in fact, and then I added it to my birthday list. I asked for it for my birthday in the summer, and my family got it for me. And this is Jewish fiction that takes place in the Pale of Settlement, but I think it really tries to take a different swing on things, and it's very much it's about a young woman who's a butcher and goes searching for like a wayward relative or something like that. So it's supposed to be pretty unique, so I'm excited. And finally, book 3. I actually thought the 2021 releases were buried and I'd definitely get some repeats. And it would especially be nice because then I don't have to do quite as much post-production work. So if number 3 could be something I've already done in this these videos before, that would be nice. But I will try to go over here and see what I get, or they stick together, but here we go. Here's one. Ah, The Forever Summer by Jamie Brenner. Nope! This is another 2021 release, so that I got in 2021, so I guess I'll be having to do all the post-production for this video today, or, you know, huzzah! Anyway, this I got from a used library bookstore back in, I think, the summer sometime, and it was just one of the ones that's been on my list forever. And then I found it there. I believe this is sort of a breezy, not rom-com, but kind of in that vein of family drama that's a little lighter-hearted, I think, or maybe not. I guess I'll be finding out. Okay, well, you've seen me grab these books, and now I'm going to read them to myself and come back to you with my thoughts, so stay tuned. Okay, and I'm back, ready to discuss my pages. Starting with book number 1, Everything Belongs to Us by Eugen Grace Wertz. He only spoke the words associated with the game. Tay, clever at jokes and a willing scapegoat for mistakes. Sunam might play every day for a week and not show up again for a month. As a result, he was always welcome and slightly over-celebrated, as if his presence each time were a fluke. Tay was dealing when Sunam arrived, but he handed over the deck with an excessively dramatic bow. Young Nim, he said, proffering the cards with both hands. Tay called everyone Young Nim, honorific older brother, whether or not they were actually his senior. He had failed the entrance exams twice, making him 2 years older than his class, and he enjoyed tripping people with this hierarchical quandary. If they accepted his calling them young, then he would act offended and demand to know how old they were. If, as they should, they gave him the proper respect due to his age, he would enact an obsequious attitude of lowering himself. No, you're the young Nim, no you, taking perverse pleasure in embarrassing everyone. It all depended on his mood, which was slippery and mercurial. They played smoothly for several rounds, with Wanu picking up the most points. It was early in the day, and he was still interested. 13 with spades, 14 with no trump, pass, 17 with hearts, full score with diamonds, friend, queen of diamonds. During a lull, Tay lay on his back with an arm flung over his eyes. He wasn't saying a word, but there was a silent buzz coming off of him, as if he were plugged into an electric outlet, gathering charge. "You're quiet today," Sunam said. "Did you forget to take your vitamins or something?" Tay changed positions and propped himself up on his side. His eyes were bright. "You guys ever go to Aituan?" There was a brief but significant pause in the game as everyone registered the question. I kind of love it when pages end on something like that, where it's like, this was an important moment, but you won't find out next what it is until the next page. I mean, it's not the end of the chapter or anything, but I don't know, it's a nice little, teaser. And I like this page. It was started off, because, of the context thing of not having any more context, like there were a couple of, half sentences to start it off, but then we got a lot of information, particularly about this character Tay, who seems like a real jackass. But, those ones are really fun to follow too, So that's intriguing in and of itself. And I can tell they're playing a card game, but I don't know enough about cards to really know what it is. But we definitely have, a society here, like a group of people with shared history, and that's intriguing. And I really liked it, and it, brought me into a new culture, but was still very accessible, and I'm just really glad, feeling really hopeful about this page. Book number 2 is The Slaughterman's Daughter by Yaniv Itzkovitz. Fanny knows how country life works, knows that their strange appearance will have already become the topic of the day. It is time to disappear. They must hasten on to Baranovichi before rumor of the 3 dead bodies reaches the village. Thanks perhaps to the smelling salts, the old Jew finally wakes, his black eyes widening at the sight of Zizek's scarred face looming over him. He tries to get up to his feet or flee from the wagon, but his legs tangle like a newborn lamb's and he collapses again. However, once he has understood that the horses have been stopped for him and that he has been offered water and dry bread, he is no longer in such a rush to get up. His back aches and his muscles are feeble, but if he could only take a little bite from one of those apples that his saviors have accumulated on their travels through the village, his body would surely regain its strength. On the other hand, he has bad teeth, so perhaps they would be so kind as to peel and slice the apple for him. It doesn't take long for Fanny and Zizek to discover that this Jew is quite demanding. He tells him that his name is Schleimel and that he is a Hazan, a cantor. Fanny is surprised by this revelation. Hazanim are usually devout men, greatly respected by Jewish communities. What has happened to him, and why was he lying at the side of the road in a filthy kaftan? What is more, how can he understand their Polish? Hazanin usually speak only Yiddish and Hebrew. They have no use for other languages. Schleimel the cantor merely shrugs and offers no answer. They found him by the wayside? He is surprised. Perhaps he fell victim to sunstroke, or maybe he was robbed by bandits. Yes, it's all coming back to him now. There were 2 of them, maybe even 3, ogres, sons of giants, who accosted him, demanding to know why he was roaming around the villages on foot like a government spy. And he explained to them that he is Hazan, delighting the Jews with his beautiful melodies. I like this one too, and there's a similarity, I think, to the last page I did. This Hazan character, the Schleimel, the Hazan, is slippery and obsequious and, obviously hiding something or, trying to manipulate the narrative. It's interesting the way Itzkovitz deals with this, though, because he doesn't, do the dialogue tags between him and his 2, saviors at the side of the road. It's just that they explain what he said and in, the tone that he would have said it in or the types of words that he would have used. So that it's not just reportage of what he said, but that he's being obsequious, like, that last guy, too. So that's fun. I'm not sure if we follow him in the previous page 112 pages or if we follow, Fanny and Zizek. I'm not sure. I'd find out through reading the book, and I'm definitely intrigued by this one. It's an interesting setup of, finding, a dirty old man at the side of the road, and who is he? And, his story's a little weird, and he's hiding something, so, intrigue abounds. And finally, we have Book 3, The Forever Summer by Jamie Brenner. And this page 112 starts at the beginning of a chapter. Lucky for it, we have chapter 17. Where had everyone gone? Blythe couldn't find Marian or Amelia or anyone for that matter. She passed by Rachel's empty room and looked inside. The photo albums were just sitting there, on the bed. Just sitting there. She never would have sought them out. Every instinct told her to ignore them. Blythe glanced down the hallway in either direction and then went in and closed Rachel's bedroom door. This was madness. She sat on Rachel's bed. The album was a navy blue with gold piping along the edges. The spine was worn. When she opened it, the book crackled. It smelled musty like old glue. Blythe's pulse raced. There he was, the face that had existed only in her mind for 30 years. Achingly beautiful and alive. She gingerly touched his image, Nick on the beach, at the water's edge. She had not known this Nick, carefree, sun-kissed, happy. So this is an interesting one. I feel like you have to probably understand. I guess maybe not, because you're not supposed to have more context than what you read. But this is a very different sort of story. It's a quieter story, I think just a lot less external drama going on in this story. We don't have, some sort of card game between, people who have hierarchical drama between them, like the first book, or we don't have, a man found dirty at the side of a road with a iffy story like the second one. This is very much about a woman who seems to be confronting her demons by way of a man who died, and she isn't sure she wants to see him again. And she's putting a lot of emphasis on how the photo albums are just sitting there. And so it's possible in the past 112 pages, there's, emphasis on, don't show me these photographs, this is too painful, or something like that. It seems like with all that drama, and there was some italics in there as well, that, there was some build up to that. But obviously, this is a loss that she's still mourning after 30 years. And I really do like the end of the page. It's an intriguing thing about not knowing him as like carefree and happy. I mean, that's intriguing in and of itself. But I think in comparison to the other two, it's just not as enticing, even though, ironically, it's an easier page 112 because it kind of is, the beginning of part of the story rather than in the middle of it. But I think I'm going to go put this one down. And I'm going to go with Everything Belongs to Us by Eugen Grace Wertz. I struggled with this one for a bit because I really liked both of the pages, and, there were similar enticing elements to both of them. And in a way, my interest also came from two separate sides. Like, this one has been in my TBR for such a long time, and I wasn't sure if I'd ever get to it. And then this one is, exciting because it's so new, because it just came out last year and I just got it last year. But in a way, I feel like that does make me at the moment lean toward this one a little bit more, just because, it's paid its dues. You know, this piece of paper is, sat so patiently in the mug for years. And also, this was a book I got for free, so I do feel like I kind of owe some representation in a way to trying this one out. So yeah, this is what I'm going to go with. I hope that the rest of the book lives up. We will see how it goes. That about covers it for me now. You can find the Goodreads links for all 3 of these books listed down below if you want more information, and also a link to my TBR Games playlist, now that I have a lot in that one. And speaking of which, I also like to use this outro to highlight another TBR game on BookTube or a readathon or something like that, just to, show my support for the community and how they're trying to, get some reading done. So for this month, I think I'm going to go with a Book Olive, who is hosting a read-along on Goodreads of The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, which I don't believe her read-along has begun yet, so if you're interested, you can click on the information down below and see about joining. It feels weird to highlight this. I know I won't be joining because I have loaded up my my TBR for the month too much as it is. I mean, this is the final thing that I wanted to slot in, this one book right here, so I won't be doing any readathons with her, but hopefully it'll be a good one. Anyway, I will be back on this channel in the next couple of days to do my first author's answer video of the year. So exciting to basically restart traditions that I barely got away from, but it feels exciting and new again in a new year, so I'll go with it. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.